Hi there, thanks for joining me in this presentation where we're going to go through 10 ways that other consultancies in the human resources industry are bringing in new business. Now, I've worked with and interviewed many successful consulting firms in the HR industry, and here's what they often have in common. Successful consulting firms in the HR industry, and that includes recruitment, diversity and inclusion, general HR, employee engagement, etc., they often have more predictable revenue. They've got more time for fee-paying work, and they've got higher or maintained fees. And that means, for instance, in the COVID situation, they're not being forced to lower their fees. They can maintain or even increase them. They're getting more sales leads, more sales calls, and the work that they do win tends to be with higher level clients, more interesting work, higher value, etc. They've got higher status in the industry, and there's less work involved in winning new clients, and it takes less time to convert leads into clients. And one of the side benefits that's fabulous is having more me time, to study, learn, spend time with family or friends, walk on the beach, whatever they want. But there is more of that available to them. On the flip side, the ones that don't have some of these structures that we're going to look at in place, they've got the roller coaster income. They're relying on manual cold calls, emails, referrals, a lot of hustle involved. There's low fees, there's client drought, it's hard to find new sales leads, and those leads that turn into cheap clients. And then they're often doing the lower level work, and they're rushing around doing everything themselves. It's hard to sort of distribute or delegate, and the sales process takes so much time. They're involved in every little sales conversation, every meeting, all of that sort of stuff. So it's a lot, which leaves them with very little me time. So the key difference between those two groups is that the successful ones leverage what I call compound marketing. So if you think of compound interest, you've got the accumulation method, if you like, which builds upon the previous work. It's the same with the compound marketing. The difference is the cumulative or connected approach versus a spray and pray approach in the unsuccessful side. The compound marketing takes the educational view, whereas the other side is more about sales focused and just sell, sell, sell. And then finally, the ongoing consistent approach versus the one-off sporadic, let's do an ad here, a LinkedIn post there, send another email out there. It's not connected, and so has none of that compound interest, compound marketing approach or benefit. So here's an example of a one-off sales-focused approach versus the educational cumulative approach. So you go to all this effort from Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. to drive people to a phone call. So please contact us. You've got a contact us page, or the call to action is please book a call or whatever. It's all or nothing, and it's very sales focused, and there's no building up of that trust. That phrase, know, like, and trust. There's none of that going on. So it tends to be quite unsuccessful, and the numbers that get through to that stage are pretty small. On the other side, companies that are more successful take a more educational and cumulative approach, which often, for instance, involves a two-step process. So yeah, still the same amount of work, effort, or whatever to drive traffic or get that interest, but giving them some educational content, whether that's a resource, guide, whatever it may be, opt in, and then offer the sales call or appointment and so on. Similar numbers take that because there's a bit more warmer audience coming through, but if they don't take it, there's a lead nurturing process that goes on where they build up that trust. So you've got that know, like, and trust, and raising the status, which goes back to all the things that we saw, the nice stuff, the higher fees, more clients, etc. Compound marketing equals more opportunities. So if you think of the chart we just saw on the previous slide, well, you've got one of those in place, which helps generate more sales calls, new clients. But what happens when you start to add more of them? They compound, and you're scaling up your reach. So before we start, about me, you'd never guess, but I'm an Aussie. I'm an Aussie living in Europe, so I'm a bit geographically confused. But I was an HR professional for years inside large corporations, became an HR consultant across the range of services there and for large and international clients. And then for the last part of my career, I've been doing marketing for HR-related companies, recruitment firms, employee engagement firms, etc. So you can learn more about me on my LinkedIn, etc., but that's me in a nutshell. Okay, so why am I doing this? I just firstly want to show you what's possible so you can get some ideas and think, oh, wow, actually we could implement some of this stuff. And then secondly, after watching this, you might like the idea of me doing all or some of your marketing and then may request a call. That's it. No big sales pitch. I don't have some big team behind me, all these expensive costs and all that sort of stuff. It's all I'm suggesting is have a call. And you may say, well, Ben, you just told us not to do that call. So the difference is that you're watching through a video, you've opted in through a process, you're learning a bit about me, and also the content is sitting on my website, so you can learn a bit more about what I can do. So it's a different process, but you get the idea. Anyway, that's sales pitch over. Let's get into the content. Almost over. If you need to contact me, /contact, or there's my email address, ben@getmorehrclients.com. And that's me doing some sort of Marcel Marceau impression. Okay, so 10 ways that other consultancies in the human resources industry are bringing in new business. Okay, thought leadership at scale. These are some interesting numbers. 47% of C-suite executives say they will share their information with sellers after reading quality thought leadership from the brand. 58% of decision makers say they choose a business off of their thought leadership. And 61% of decision makers say they are more willing to pay premium prices to work with a brand that articulates a clear vision through thought leadership. So did you catch all that? Based on effective thought leadership, business leaders will give you their details, they're more likely to choose you, and they will pay premium prices. Thought leadership and content is vital. Regular helpful content in various formats is the new baseline. So in other words, previously, you've probably heard the phrase content is king. You've got to share your ideas, your thought leadership, and stuff like that. It'll set you apart. It doesn't set you apart anymore. It's just the baseline. It's just something you have to do. And companies that are not doing it are getting left behind. And the ones that are out there sharing thought leadership content in clever ways, they're the ones bringing in new sales calls, new clients. Now, I spoke to one of the execs at Franklin Covey Company. So if you know Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that famous book, 25 million book copies sold. So I spoke to one of the execs there, and he was telling me how they've got about 7 or 10 designated thought leaders within the company, and they're all writing books that they sell and selling thousands and thousands of copies, which then feed into webinars and all. Huge effort, but they've actually got like a solid team, a group of people, 7 to 10 people, as I said, out there sharing thought leadership. So it's not just the CEO doing some stuff or someone in their marketing department doing things. There's a whole suite of people, and that's a large, very successful company. I think every company in the broad HR industry could be doing something similar, not necessarily needing 7 to 10 people, but there's ways of getting thought leadership and content out there. The other thing to remember is the 80-20 rule. So what that means is you've got to produce content. You don't always know which is the most successful until you get the numbers in. And then what happens is 20% of your content will bring in 80% of your leads and sales and so on. So for example, when I was running my own HR business, I produced webinars, ebooks, all kinds of stuff. But it nearly killed me when I discovered that the number one source of new leads into the funnel, if you like, into the pipeline, was for a 1-page Microsoft Word document, which was a written warning template. So if someone's been a naughty boy in the office, then you give them a written warning letter, and here's a template that you can fill in to give them that. That brought in hundreds, if not thousands, of leads into the business. But you just don't know until you've produced it and shared it and continue to run. Then you can scale it up with ads or webinars, etc. So at the end of the day, if you want more sales leads, more new clients, higher status, higher fees, content marketing positions you as the place to be. Okay, number 2, 24/7 automated sales process. We've sort of alluded to some of what's possible, but the idea is to bring in prospective new clients on autopilot by converting free traffic into leads. Now, what you need to watch out for is not converting website visitors to sales leads, because 95% of website visitors disappear. In other words, someone goes to Google, they type in whatever you do, a few companies come up, including you, they have a look, and then they close the browsers because their next meeting's on. They've forgotten you. They're gone. They're never coming back. They're just going to look at the tab that they left open. So you've got to watch out for not using automation to remove you from the early selling process. So you want to get them into the process as described in some of the other slides. And then also, you just cannot let potential prospects just walk away and forget you. So again, if you haven't got it automated, you put all your eggs in one basket. Please call us, please call us, please call us. Nothing happens. Whereas if you can get a bit of a framework going on where you're bringing them into your lead nurturing funnel, you've actually removed yourself from the early selling process. You're building up trust, leading to the sales process where it's a lot easier to convert them into new clients. Success tips: just add more opportunities onto your website and LinkedIn and so on. Add more tools and templates as reasons to opt in. It doesn't always need to be the fancy 50-page white paper. And educate prospects and position yourself as the prize over time via email. Again, compound marketing equals more opportunities. So the diagram that we saw earlier, that's going to produce more sales calls and new clients. What happens if you start to add more of those frameworks? It compounds. You're going to get a lot more opportunity and a way of getting a predictable revenue, something you can trust. Okay, so number 3, the Oprah Winfrey method. If you write a book and no one reads it, does it even exist? I know I'm getting all philosophical here, but I think Oprah Winfrey, she used to have a book show, right, or a book club, and she would talk about, the Underground Railroad book. Everyone will go out and buy it. Wonderful. That's the Oprah Winfrey method. You want a third party who's known and trusted by their audience to talk about you and your services. That's a brilliant way of scaling up services, and happens all the time. So for instance, the Predictive Index, a company I know that they do personality assessments for work traits, all that sort of stuff. They are heavy into channel partners, so consultants who would refer in business. You can scale that up through JVs, joint ventures, where you're doing presentations to a third-party audience and vice versa. So having someone like Oprah talk about your business, it's a lot easier than you standing up there and saying, we're wonderful. If you've got someone like Oprah up there going, well, you need to be calling XYZ consulting firm, they're brilliant, then obviously you're going to get a lot more business. So good little method. And that happens all the time. As I say, I was at a conference and running some webinar sessions. So my brand's out there, and equally, I'm out there promoting, for instance, in this case, this particular conference. So the Ascension Model, it's often easier to start with a small foot in the door products and services, and then work your way up the value ladder. So here's me during a coaching call for one of the bootcamp sessions. But the idea is that if you've got a high-end headhunting package, and who knows how you've got your billing structured, whether it's different tranches, or if you run a large consulting practice with large-scale change programs or training programs, it's hard to go from a zero sale up to a high-end package or product or service. So successful firms have got things in between to make it a little bit easier. And the classic is your 1 hour briefing session. So a recruitment firm, rather than going straight to the full headhunting service, you might have an introductory offer whereby you go in for 1 hour and you train, or a Zoom session these days, you train all the team leads and frontline managers on behavioral interview techniques. And you charge for that small amount, but it's not necessarily the monetary value. It's the fact that you've got all these business leaders in there who know, like, and trust you as a result. You've just bought them coffee and a donut as well, so they absolutely love you. Who's going to get called next time they've got a vacancy, for example, on the recruitment side? So looking at the Ascension Model is very powerful. Podcasting power. I'm not an egomaniac. I try not to put my photo everywhere, but it was just a branding decision at the time. But for instance, I have a podcast, and I've also helped set up podcasts for other businesses in the HR industry, and they're just so powerful. It's not actually the audience size that matters. It's the people you're inviting, and also the positioning it gives you. For instance, in my case, I'm invited to conferences all the time, free tickets for expensive things, and sometimes asked to moderate stuff or give talks, etc. Same with the podcast for client companies. They brought on international sports stars, business leaders, all that kind of stuff, and ideal clients. So really, really powerful method of getting thought leadership out there, and then combine that with repurposing it so you can use that for other content. It's a really powerful way of getting yourself out there. Reconnecting with retargeting. So you got a lot of effort to bring people to your website and share all the content, or look at what you offer. But there's a really powerful way, and that's to create warm audiences using low-cost video content ads and retargeting ads. So those ads that follow you around on the internet, you can do that, but you can run videos, 2 to 3 minutes, on you talking about the latest employee engagement tactics for the manufacturing industry. You can show that to people who have been on your service page for employee engagement services for manufacturing companies. So can you imagine a video of you talking, showing your expertise, and showing that to someone who's been on your site, forgotten all about you, but they're now learning, know, like, and trust you more. And you can have that running for, 3-4 cents US a play. Right? So that can be really low cost, but such a powerful way of raising your positioning, your status, your ability to command higher fees, etc. You can even have your own global conference. Now, I have to say, I was doing them before they were cool. Now they're a little bit more common, but they're really powerful, and they used to be in person in large conference centers. Now they're held online. So I ran one earlier in 2020, had about 40 speakers, 1,000 people turned up from all around the world. Brilliant feedback, raised my positioning, which fed into coaching programs and client work, etc. But there's plenty of that. And here are some examples of other ones I've been speaking at, and you can do them. The technology's there, the software is there, and the expertise is there. So they're obviously great ways to get more thought leadership out there, but also connect you with other speakers, other brands that may do the Oprah Winfrey method for you. I'm really giving myself some hard-to-say titles here, but here's a self-liquidating offer to feed your 24/7 automated sales process. A mouthful, but what does that mean? What it means is you can actually run ads or run offers whereby you charge money. So, for instance, you might have a foot-in-the-door product or service, like $100 or £100 informational or training course or something like that. You could run a special offer for that and deliver it via email and give a coupon, something like that. What that means is there's for instance, an HR consultancy, or in that industry anyway, in the States, large business. And what they do is when they go on stage or do Zoom talks, they say, well, we've got this product. Normally it's $100, but we're going to give it to you for $50. If you give us your email address, we'll send you the coupon code. It's only for attendees of this event. You don't have to buy it, but you at least have the coupon if you change your mind or whatever. And there's some other bonuses in there. The point is, all these people give them their email address, which goes into their lead nurturing funnel, that automated 24/7 lead funnel. But also, they are covering the cost by getting paid for the product sales. So if you think about it, if you spend a little bit of money on Google ads or Facebook ads promoting this offer, some of the sales will cover the cost of running the ads. But not only that, you're suddenly boosting your mailing list, and you're also building up your retargeting audience, which means you can show those ads that follow you around to that group. So again, simple, powerful ways of raising status, increasing the lead flow, getting more sales calls, getting new clients. That's an example of how the flow could work. So number 9, segmentation for greater impact. You just got to do it. Basically, here's an example of my own mailing list opt-in process. So if someone joins my mailing list via my website, they're instantly segmented out according to category. So are they someone who is a solo consultant? Are they a large firm? Are they someone who hasn't started? Are they an HR tech firm? The reason I split them out is because they've all got different needs. So what about you? Who is your audience? Maybe you have some different industry focuses. Maybe you look after fintech and then large financial services, banks, and older school, if you like. You don't want to send them the same types of messages, do you? Because they've got different focal points, all that kind of stuff. So if you can segment them, your messaging to them will be a lot more powerful. So that's both for email and also for advertising, copy, all that kind of stuff. But segmentation is a really powerful way to get your message through and win more clients. And finally, number 10, the power of co-creation. That's simply the co-creation of ebooks, blogs, reports. Rather than you just writing something yourself, a big hefty document that no one ever reads, getting people involved in that process from other organizations, other companies, clients, etc., it means it's not quite viral, but it's spreading the word. And you've got more people, more eyeballs on it in your ideal target audience. So it's a really great one. It's one I've leveraged so many times, and how I've kickstarted several business campaigns. It really gets the word out there about your business. So great way to think about it. So successful consultancies combine methods to achieve compound marketing. And again, the difference at the end of the day is the ongoing consistent approach rather than having a one-off sporadic approach. So if you need some help or like the idea of me managing all or some of your marketing, get in touch. Let's talk. There's the website, getmorehrclients.com/contact, or just email me. I'll just get it on my phone and reply. There's no hefty sales process or anything like that. It's just a conversation, and it's Ben at getmorehrclients.com. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for your time.